The police came and they said, get out of the store immediately. This is when somebody asks you to leave their house, you leave their house.
This is the plaintiff, Ira Schiafardi. She says she bought a German Shepherd puppy from the defendant's pet store. And when she got it home, it couldn't keep any food down. That's right, it would eat and then throw up. She took the poor thing to the vet, who told her the puppy was born with an enlarged esophagus and it would die as a result of the condition. When she demanded her money back, the defendants told her no, called the cops. And well, here they are. She's suing for $1,249.71. Oh, she's out. These are the defendants, store manager Janice Gunther and store owner Charles Glatz. Janice says the plaintiff returned to their store 3 weeks after purchasing a puppy, claiming she had to feed it while it stood on its hind legs due to an enlarged esophagus. She then started screaming and waving her arms around in a threatening manner, so they called the cops. They offered to exchange the pup, but the lunatic demanded a dog for free, and she has some nerve suing them today. They're accused of shepherding a lawsuit.
All parties, please raise your right hand.
What you are about to witness is real. The participants are not actors. They are actual litigants with a case pending in civil court. Both parties have agreed to drop their claims and have their cases settled here before Judge Marilyn Milian in our forum, the People's Court.
Be seated. Come to order, please. Litigants have been sworn, Your Honor.
Thank you.
You're welcome, ma'am.
All right. Iris and Giovanni Schiafardi?
Schiafardi.
Okay. You are suing the puppy store, the puppy stop, represented by the owner, Donald Charles Glatz. Correct? Okay. And you also have your manager here?
Correct.
For $1,249.71, money that you paid for a dog, vet bills, and puppy products that you want to be reimbursed for because, according to you, the dog has a congenital defect.
Yes.
Tell me what happened.
On February 2nd, we went to the flea market just to buy a cellular plug for the car. And we saw these puppies over there. So my husband fell in love with the German Shepherd. So I told him to think about it, but then after a while, I saw a woman taking a picture of the dog, and we ended up buying the dog.
And you ended up buying the dog?
We ended up buying the dog.
All you need is somebody else showing interest in it, and that's
yes,
it? You want it?
Yes, because we thought that by the time we come back from the other side that we were going to walk, we're not going to see the dog anymore. So we bought the dog. After we have all the papers and everything ready to take the dog home, Mr. Eddie said, oh, you have to fill out this paper.
Who's Mr. Eddie?
The person that was selling the dogs.
Who's that?
At the flea market.
A salesman for us.
A salesman. Okay, let me see the contract that you signed.
And
It
signed
says under Florida law, a consumer may sign a waiver relinquishing his or her right to return the dog or cat for congenital hereditary. In the case of such a waiver, the consumer has 48 normal business hours, excluding weekends and holidays, in which to have the animal examined by a licensed veterinarian of the consumer's choosing. If the veterinarian certifies that at the time of sale, the dog or cat was unfit for purchase due to a congenital or hereditary disorder, the pet dealer must afford the consumer the right to choose one of the following options. I waive my right to return the dog for hereditary or congenital disorders. I know that this is what Florida law says. It says they can waive it. Why would anybody ever waive it? And when they waive it, it just goes from what, 14 days to 2?
Well, if you sign that and you waive your rights on a congenital or hereditary, the state gives you 48 business hours to take them in for the exam.
to attack the issue. You still have 48 hours no matter what, even if you waive it. But
exactly.
if you don't waive it, if I read that and I said, get out of here, I'm not signing that, and I didn't waive it, well, how long would I have according to you guys?
1 year.
1 year? All right, so tell me then, you take the dog home and what happened?
So I took the dog home, and I fed the dog, and I noticed that every time that I gave him food or water, he threw up. No matter how much he threw up. So I tried giving him small amounts, and then I took him to their bed, like they said. They took it to the bed, and I told him.
When did you take the dog to the vet?
I took it to the bed the 4th, Monday 4th. I took the
And
dog.
you bought the dog when?
On the February 2nd. Saturday.
So you bought the dog on February
Saturday,
2nd, and 48 hours
Saturday.
later you take it to her vet. But you know that you signed, you know that you said you would have 48 hours to check out the dog.
Right,
Why
but
didn't you take the dog sooner?
It says working days.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So
it
you're
says
within the
working
time,
days.
and what
Yeah.
happens?
So he says to me, well, they eat in a pack, and maybe he's eating fast, but he's fine. The dog is fine. So I took the dog home, and I started giving him a smaller amount.
He didn't do any. That doctor didn't do any X-rays or anything else.
No,
Right.
no. So he was the same. So I changed the food from puppy chow to Purina, and he was the same. So I took it to my vet, and they did the X-ray, and they find out that the dog has a birth defect. He has the esophagus is too big, and every time that he eats, that's why he threw up. She explained to me everything was going to happen. She says eventually the dog is going to die because every time that he throws up, the air goes through his lungs, and that's why he gets the pneumonia.
Do you still have the dog?
Yes, I have the dog, and last night he threw up 3 times already.
So when all this happens, when you take the dog to your vet, it's what day in February?
The 22nd, Friday.
Okay.
And the doctor says to me, she told me to put him to sleep.
So you have not done that?
No. So after that, the next day, I went to the store. As soon as I went to the store and I said the dog is sick, she told me to get out of the store and wait outside.
Who said that?
Miss Janice.
I didn't say it that way.
Okay.
Okay, that day, well, can I go over the time frame? Because her time frame's not correct. She bought the puppy on the 2nd. She never called me one time. I didn't hear from her. She showed up at the store unexpectedly on the 23rd. So 21
So according
days
to you,
later,
like during that whole time, she doesn't call you to tell you that the dog is vomiting?
Yeah, but I felt bad for her. The owner felt bad for her. We offered her another puppy, and then she started making demands. She wanted a husky, and then she called me back, and she wanted a female golden retriever, and she didn't want to pay the cost difference. And then she wanted me to pay her $281 vet bill. On the 24th, she came back in because I requested the vet bills, the diagnosis, and the statements, all of that. And she started screaming and yelling in the store.
That's not true.
Yes, it is.
Okay, don't talk to each other.
She started screaming and yelling in the store that we sell sick puppies. I asked her to leave. I asked her to go outside. And let's discuss this further outside. She would not do that. So I asked her 3 times to leave the store. I no longer want her in the store. We'll talk on the phone. She refused, and the more I asked her to leave, the louder she got. So I had to call the police.
And then the police get there and they tell her step out.
The police came and they said, get out of the store immediately. This is when somebody asks you to leave their house, you leave their house.
Right.
So they took her outside. We all spoke for about 30 minutes outside, and they put a trespass warrant against her.
Is that accurate?
No, that's not what happened.
Tell me how it happened.
That's not what happened.
Welcome back to the People's Court. Harvey Levin here. If you bought a dog, tell me the truth. Would you take it to a vet before actually making the final purchase?
No,
Why not?
because you would think.
Huh?
Waste the money. You already bought the dog, so why are you gonna waste money to go?
Yeah, but are you going to ask wherever you buy it from, say, look, can I take it to a vet before I actually seal the deal?
Probably not. I'll probably take it to the vet after I buy the dog.
Is that smart?
Probably not, but that's what I would do.
That's why you fall in love with dogs. I got you. Going inside the courtroom.
When the police came in, then the police said, and she says to me, when they come in, you're going to see. You're going to go outside. And I said, excuse me.
And that's exactly what happened, right?
And she says to me, you see,
All
you
right,
see.
listen. Let's talk about what your rights are and what your rights aren't. I mean, because that's kind of important, right? When you have a lawsuit, at some point before you filed the lawsuit, before you got into the Quién es más macha with her, all right? Did you ever read what this said?
No.
Yes. Okay. Because as it turns out, what you did when you signed this contract is you said, I have 2 days to figure out if there's a congenital or hereditary defect. That means that in 48 business hours, you go to your vet and you have the dog checked out thoroughly. You know, an x-ray is a really good idea when you have this kind of contract. Have an x-ray done so you can see if there's anything that's congenital. I mean, it's kind of crazy because really you got to do a complete workup and there might be nothing wrong with the pet, but that's the only way to protect yourself. And that might cost more than the pet did. But I can feel sorry for you all day long. I can feel sorry for your dog all day long. But what do you expect me to do? Rip this up because I feel sorry for you? I cannot. This is your contract, and you're bound by it just like everybody else is bound by their contracts. And based on this contract, I have to rule in favor of the defendants. That's my judgment.
Both sides, please hold on. So unfortunately for the plaintiff, that's your dog, and there's nothing that the judge can do about the contract you signed. Step in and tell me how you feel about this.
I learned my lesson. I will never buy another dog without searching first.
But you do understand that the waiver you signed pretty much locks it up, right? Yeah. So how's the dog?
Sick.
You're going to take care of it, right? Okay, right down this way. All right, come on in here, and thank you. What's your feeling on the outcome here?
Fair. I mean, she did sign the contract.
Yeah, and she's kind of stuck with that dog that she has to take care of now.
We felt bad. That's why we did offer her another puppy. And, you know, when she started making demands and, you know, harassing us in the store, you know.
So there's nothing more you care to do even for this customer?
Not at this point, no.
All right, Harvey?
You know, I get it when you don't do that and you don't take the dog before you buy it. It's probably a good idea to do it. Also, you should check into pet insurance because it can actually save you a bundle. That will do it for this case. Litigants for the next case on the way into the courtroom right now.
This is the plaintiff, Andrea Moore. She says she rented an illegal apartment from the defendant, and he gave her only 72 hours to vacate. The louse even turned off her electricity, ruining a full refrigerator worth of food. He thinks he's above the long arm of the law, but guess what, buddy? It all stops here and now, because she's suing for $7,463.99, the amount she's due. This is the defendant, Gary Sporline. He says this lawsuit is preposterous. He gave the plaintiff all kinds of leeway when she fell behind on her rent and would also cover her share of the electric bill. Besides, she left a year's worth of trash in the house. Gross. He's accused of lousy landlording. The defendant has filed a countersuit for $1,790 for late fees incurred and additional expenses.
All parties, please raise your right hand.
Welcome back to the People's Court. Next case on the docket, the plaintiff says, how can a landlord be so cruel as to turn the electricity off and basically ruin all of her food? But the defendant says she's a garden variety deadbeat and a slob to boot. It's the case of, what would Edison say?
Andrea Moore?
Yes.
You are suing your former landlord, Gary Sporline,
Correct.
for $7,463.99 that you say he owes you in expenses as a result of illegally evicting you and renting you an illegal apartment. You are counterclaiming against her $1,790 in late fees, electric bills, stealing your trailer, and garbage cleanup. Okay, let the fun begin.
Yeah, tell me about it.
How long were you living where you were living?
About a year.
A year. And what kind of place was that?
It was an apartment attached to a house.
Okay. How was it attached?
There was
Trying to imagine it.
They shared a wall.
Okay.
And a lot of the electricity went, like there were breakers in the neighbor's house that worked in my house that shut off the power in my house.
When you say the neighbors, you're talking about him?
No, there was separate tenants.
Okay.
On the
and
other side.
Does he live there at all?
No.
Okay.
He did before.
Now, did you know him before you started renting there?
I did. I knew his girlfriend.
Okay. And then how did you find out about the apartment?
Through his girlfriend and him. They were actually my friends.
They were your friends?
Yeah.
Okay. So you start renting the place, and when do the problems begin?
Okay, well, I have a pattern of paying Gary kind of when I get my school money because I'm a student.
Right.
And I was back in rent, and so I was going to pay him when I got my financial aid disbursement.
How back were you in rent?
3 months.
3 months?
Yeah, at that
And
time.
when you say you have a pattern, is that something he agreed to?
It was never, it really hasn't been a huge problem between us because I've always caught up.
Okay, because you used a phrase in your complaint, and I don't want to misquote you, so I'm going to read it exactly the way you stated it. The defendant and I were both students, so it was kind of understood that I would sometimes fall behind in rent.
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't. Like,
You think that's an overreaching on your part to say that because it wasn't understood? He did not approve of you falling behind in rent, or it was something he allowed?
I think it was something that he
Did you
knew.
did you envision that because she's a student, she wouldn't pay rent in 3 months?
I did take that into consideration, and what had happened was I paid the rent. My father, who under scrutiny did not want me to do that, but I did that because she's a student and I know where she's coming from. I know.
So you would pay her rent and have no problem with it?
Well, because I knew that when she got her school money, that I would get paid back.
So when she got her school money, did you get paid back?
Not the final time.
No. So at the final time, she was behind in rent how many months?
3 months.
All right. And then what happens?
School loans came out. I didn't receive a call from her, nothing. So I called her up. I said, hey, if we could meet up, I'd like to get some of the power money and the rent money. And she had told me that she received a letter from the city saying that the place wasn't up to code and that she had to vacate by July 1st.
Okay, now that's how you've described it, not up to code. Let's analyze that 1 second. You received a letter that said what?
That it was an illegal apartment.
Okay,
I had to
that's
move.
a little more than not up to
that
code, right?
I had to move.
Just a little bit more than not up to code. Not up to code is we have a wire hanging. Illegal apartment means she can't even rent it out. You can't rent it out to her. Which is it?
It was a non-conforming apartment, which...
You can't rent it out. And then the city is forcing you to comply or get fined. And now, what do?
So then I tell him that...
I'm not going to pay rent, but I'm also not moving out.
No, I was going to figure out the eviction process. I had met with the school legal aid, because at that point I hadn't gotten the eviction notice.
And then you got the eviction notice just how much later after that? Couple days.
Couple days, yeah.
Okay, and so now you get an eviction notice, and what do?
A second letter comes from the county saying that there's no immediate danger, but he has to do an electrical inspection on the house and the apartment.
Okay, and you in fact hire somebody to do an electrical inspection.
I did.
And what happened?
Well, he went to the house. I don't know what had happened, but she didn't allow access to that place.
Why didn't you allow the electrician to go?
Okay, I did. I met with him on Friday. He was going to go and turn my power off, which Gary had already done before, and the neighbors had found, yeah, we skipped ahead a little bit. And so the electrician got in my face, and I told him, you can't turn the power off. That's illegal for Gary to turn the power off. And the electrician got in my face after I told him he couldn't turn off the electricity.
He got in your face and what?
And he said, I'm the electrician. I can do whatever I want.
Really?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, it's his friend. It's his family friend.
Okay.
And so
what you didn't want him to do was what?
Turn off the power,
electricity
because
for
I had-
what? For a moment or
No,
for
because
eternity?
for eternity. It's off. My daughter and I had to leave. The eviction we hadn't even gone to
Did
court.
he turn it? Can't you turn it off not from your apartment?
No.
Can't he turn it off from another spot?
No, he did. He flipped it from the switch in the main house, the main
Right.
breaker.
So then, what is it you were stopping him from doing?
I didn't want him to turn off my power because I hadn't even
but
gone
then,
through
Pat,
the
hold on.
election
Listen to my
or the
question.
eviction.
You're not
process.
understanding me. When he leaves, is your power on or off?
Off.
Okay. And then when do you leave?
I leave a couple days later.
Were you without power for those couple of days?
Or not, I'm sorry, not a couple days later. I leave the next day and I came back to get my stuff.
Were you without power until that? Were you without power after that?
From then on.
From then on, there was no power.
Yeah, and I had to.
Did you turn the power off deliberately? Because she accuses you of turning off the power deliberately.
I did. On May 1st, I turned the power off.
And why did you turn the power off on May?
Because she did not pay her power bill. No.
There wasn't an outage. You actually turned off the power.
Yeah.
You know you can't do that, right? Do you know that you are a landlord and that you have to abide by the same rules as all other landlords have to abide by? And if someone owes you money, you can't shut off their power. That's illegal. So, you are suing for $4,500 in past rent that you did pay, which you now want back, even though you did live there.
Yes.
Right? Okay. You are suing for the expenses for a new apartment. Why would he have to pay for that for you? You have a month-to-month lease there. You don't even have a lease, right? It's like totally month-to-month. So why would he have to buy you a new apartment?
From what I understood with talking to a lawyer is that because it was an illegal place that I shouldn't have to, I wasn't planning on moving, that I was forced to leave.
Except for that, did that lawyer who you spoke to understand that you have no lease? And when would that ever entitle you to first, last, and security when there's a termination because you're at whim? And then the third thing you're asking for is spoiled food. And that's because you turned off your electricity. You're asking for $200 for spoiled food. Do you have any receipts for the spoiled food?
I don't. I just have the pictures in my refrigerator.
Okay. Can I see the pictures? All right. Now let's hear from you. You are counterclaiming against her $1,790. One of them is 9 months of late fees. Did you not just testify to me that when I was making fun of her for, oh, really, your landlord expected you to be late, and I fully expected your answer to be totally ridiculous, Judge. Your answer was, in fact, well, yeah, I knew I had to wait around for it. Oh, okay. So why would she owe you late fees?
Well, I had asked her, I said, after the first month, she said, it's going to be hard for me to come up with this rent, so can I pay you when we get school money? I said, yes, but I still have to pay the rent. So I'm going to have to charge you $50 a late fee.
Yeah,
she agreed to that.
Did you ever pay a late fee in your life while you were living there?
No.
Did you ever agree that you would be paying late fees?
No.
Okay. Now what do you do? Wait, let me ask you a question. Wait, let me ask you a question. He turned off the electricity the first time on May 1st, but you were there till the 12th. So between the 1st and the 12th, the electricity went back on.
He turned off the power, the electrician turned off the power on the 4th.
Okay, but everybody knows that the power is just turned off, not by something fancy, but by the switch in the neighbor's house, right? So why didn't you just have it turned back on there?
I couldn't because they weren't there.
Because they weren't there. They had cleared already?
Yeah, they were gone.
Okay, so what you did was instead you moved, right?
I had to move into my parents' house. Yeah.
Okay, and did you bring the food to your parents' house?
No.
Okay, you just left all this food there?
At that point.
Was all that food there when you went in?
Yes.
It was all there when you went in. I keep being surprised by all the answers.
Okay.
So you go in, and she's now gone, right? But the food is there, and other garbage, according to you, is there. Do you have pictures of the garbage and the cleanup that, according to you, she forced you to do?
I do.
What's all these garbage bags lining the side of your house?
It's because I didn't have garbage service and I couldn't get garbage service because it was already at the house next door and they would only do it to one. Because that apartment doesn't get recognized.
That wasn't a hint to you that maybe you were renting an illegal apartment?
Well, I didn't.
So what did you do for garbage for a year? Just put it next door?
No, he's hauled it before. I've had somebody else haul it before, and it just sat on the side of the house. It was.
Have you ever hauled her garbage before?
I did.
So you're all big surprised about this, even though this has been going on for a year, the garbage on the side of the house. Gary, talking to you.
I wasn't not aware that the garbage had stacked up that much until she had moved out because I didn't go by the place all the time.
So when you moved out, why didn't you take all this stuff with you? I mean, when you're moving out, do you have no responsibility as a tenant when you're moving out?
No, what I saw on the Oregon laws is that it's his job to provide a trash receptacle.
Honey, he would have to provide 500 trash receptacles.
Well, not if he was taking it every...
Okay, so I'm going to excuse you on 5 of the 40 trash bags of garbage that are on the side of the house. What happens with the rest of them?
But if it would have been the whole time...
Wow. And what is this a picture of?
That's the garbage in the trailer, which I had parked in front of where she was staying at her parents' house.
Wait, back it up. Okay. So what happens when you see all the garbage?
When she moved out, the place looked great, except the refrigerator full of food and the garbage. So I then got a friend of mine, hired him, and we loaded up the trailer, which filled up a big trailer worth of garbage, fighting off rats and just years worth of nasty garbage, you can imagine. And I left it in the trailer for a couple days to cool off.
Roaches exist where you guys live? Like, this
no,
is like,
actually, no, they don't. They don't. I took a picture of a roach on the street last night because it was the first roach I had seen.
First time in New York?
I'm serious. On my camera, I was like, wow, a roach. I finally see a roach.
We gotta get you to Miami where we saddle up our roaches. Okay? Saddle them up. Ride them cowboy. All right. So then you pack all this stuff up and you put it in a trailer. And you take the trailer to her parents' house.
I do, yeah.
And you say what? You knock on the door.
I knock on the door and I say, I brought the rest of your stuff. Because there was a bike and Christmas tree and a table and chairs stuff. And I say, I brought the rest of your stuff. She says, no, that's not mine. I say, well, it's certainly not mine. And I'm not dumping it. You're not going to dump it on my dime. So I say, you could give me $300 and I'll dump it. I'll take it to the dump.
Why is it so expensive?
Labor, time, gas,
so
all that kind of stuff.
Now you're mad and you're just
she'd already stiffed me for the power bill.
What's the actual dump fee?
I'm not sure they do it on,
do you
how much.
have a dump fee, proof of a dump fee?
I don't, not with me.
And why is that?
Because I didn't take it to dump it.
You didn't? What happened?
No, I didn't take it to dump it.
Okay.
I left the trailer at her parents' house and I says, you could pay me $300, I'll dump it and I won't say anything else about it. Or you could do it yourself. Here's my trailer, here's all your garbage. So call me the next day, let me know what you're gonna do. Well, she never called me the next day. And so the next day I drove by her house to see what's up with the trailer and the trailer wasn't there. So then I had texted her, or I called her. I said, hey, I come to get my trailer, find out what you're planning on doing. And she sends me a text saying the trailer was gone when I got home from school, this and that, yada, yada. And I'm like, well, you know, you're pay for the trailer.
What a mystery. The trailer's gone. How did the trailer become gone?
I honestly don't know.
You really don't know.
No, I don't have. My
You're
parents
like the
don't
one
have.
person who has, who is angry and has a motive, but you are not the person who took the trailer.
No, how
you
would
didn't
I
have the trailer taken.
No,
You didn't...
no.
So if the apartment's illegal, can the tenant get back all the rent that the tenant paid?
Can the tenant get back?
Yeah, all the rent that, say it's a year, can the tenant get back all the rent?
I'd say no.
Why?
Why? It's not really fair.
Well, why isn't it fair? Anybody? Why?
I got something. Well, it's like an analogy. If you get some food and then you find out that there's like a bug in it, then you get your money back. Because you're like, you know what, this food, I wasn't paying for that, so I want my...
Yeah, but the apartment is still something you used for a year, say.
But it wasn't essentially what...
I hate your bug analogy. I hate it. Going inside the courtroom.
So you're suing her for the value of the trailer
$300.
that you left behind,
I let her borrow.
unattended, parked.
Yeah.
Do you have any evidence that she stole the trailer?
No,
or
I don't.
had somebody take it and keep it? And
No evidence. I just made a police report saying, you know, the trailer's gone.
what's the value of the trailer?
$300.
The trailer. Do you have proof that the trailer cost $300?
No, it's just...
Do you have proof that the garbage cleanup cost $300?
Well, I have a receipt from a friend of mine who helped me do that, and then I
That
have,
charged you $300? Your friend charged you $300
well, no, he charged
to
me.
pick up
He
20 garbage?
charged me $150, but you know, I helped too. So
Okay, let's go over a few things, folks. First, let's go over Ms. Moore's claim against her good friend, Mr. Sporling. You do not get to sue when you are... Let me just say a few things. First of all, you know darn well you were renting an illegal apartment. It doesn't matter whether she knows. But I just want to make sure that you know that I know that you knew. Okay? But it doesn't matter because it's a little like this. Judge, I bought a kilo of cocaine from him, and when I tested, it wasn't great quality cocaine. So I want my money back, Judge, and make sure, since I didn't get the product I paid for, it's a breach of contract, Judge, and will you get him? Well, here's a surprise. Courts don't do that. Courts do not help people who are doing something that are illegal do it, okay? Whether it's a sale of cocaine or the rental of an illegal apartment. If you don't have a CO and you're not allowed to rent it, don't cry to me about everything that flows from a rental agreement that is unenforceable, such as late fees. All those things are things that flow from an illegal rental agreement that I will not help you with, okay? However, the courts also say, what are you kidding? You're not gonna be able to get back rent. What if it was 5 years? I've had cases where the tenants are suing for 5 years worth of rent. Literally 5 years worth of rent. That wouldn't be fair, right? That would be a little bonanza for you. So no, we do not allow tenants to do that either. Similarly, all of your portion of your lawsuit that talks about expenses for your new apartment are garbage. Except for one, the spoiled food issue. I find in your lawsuit against him, I'm going to award you the $200 for spoiled food. Because looking at that refrigerator, there's a lot of food in that refrigerator. So now let's talk about you. Garbage. I agree with you that she should have to pay for garbage. She can't leave all that stuff on the side of the house like that. That's her responsibility. What should she pay? $200. I think that's a fair fee to pay you for the garbage. I'd make her pay you for the missing trailer because I find it suspicious, but you have to have proof in court. So $200 on your suit against him, $200 on your suit against her, net judgment 0-0. Go home, folks. Nice meeting you.
So the apartment was illegal. It was an illegal, unenforceable rental agreement. What do you expect to come out with other than nothing?
Justice, but I don't feel like I got it.
Well, you also sued for the whole world there, trying to pad your claim and come out with the big payday.
I had a lot of receipts. I had estimates that I had done. I had talked with a lawyer, so I thought that things were going to go a little bit differently.
Mm-hmm. Are you still friends with his former girlfriend?
I haven't talked to her in a while.
Okay. All right. Head right around the corner, okay? All right. So here comes the big landlord. Did you learn a little bit about landlording here?
A little bit.
What did you learn about the laws?
The laws they can be tricky.
You can't turn off the power. You have to go through
Guess
the
not.
legal system to evict somebody.
Right?
Right?
I guess so.
Mm-hmm. Why'd you cut her so much slack? Because thought she was cute?
She's a friend of mine. No, she's a friend of mine, and we had a lot in common. Our daughters played together and stuff like that, and she needed help. And I was in a position that I could help her.
All right, so you come out with 200 and it's a wash with her. You satisfied?
Yeah.
All right. Yeah. And you got to see a roach.
Yeah, definitely. That was cool. And all the garbage on the street, man.
Okay, Harvey?
Laws differ from state to state, but in many states, the landlord who turns off electricity can be subject to punitive damages by the tenant. That will do it for this case. Litigants for the next case on the way into the courtroom right now.
This episode is brought to you by Indeed. Stop waiting around for the perfect candidate. Instead, use Indeed sponsored jobs to find the right people with the right skills fast. It's a simple way to make sure your listing is the first candidates see. According to Indeed data, sponsored jobs have 4 times more applicants than non-sponsored jobs. So go build your dream team today with Indeed. Get a $75 sponsored job credit at Indeed.com/podcast. Terms and conditions apply.
This is the plaintiff, Effie Wenner. She says the defendant nicked her Mercedes door as he tried to install a car seat in the parking lot of a Toys R Us. The guy apologized to her, but sorry doesn't cover the damages and the cost to fix it. The guy's wife is an absolute hothead who cursed her out. She doesn't have time to waste on her or the defendant and just wants the $500 she's owed. This is the defendant, Dominic Castiglione. He says he came out of the store and was getting into his car when the plaintiff approached him out of the clear blue sky, claiming he dented her car. The woman had scratches all over her car, and this whole thing seems like a setup to him. That's right, the woman's trying to pin the blame for her ratty car on him. Bottom line, he never touched the woman's car and owes her nothing. He's accused of dinging a Benz.
All parties, please raise your right hands.
Welcome back to the People's Court. Next case on the docket, the plaintiff says the defendant nicked her Mercedes when he was installing a car seat at Toys R Us. But she says he's crazy, he did nothing, and she has lots of scratches. It's the case of, I want to be a Toys R Us litigant.
Effie Wenner,
Yes.
you are suing Dominic Castiglione for $500, what you estimate to be a car repair as a result of him nicking your door with his door. Tell me what happened.
Yes, Your Honor. On September 11th, I parked my car next to the defendant car in the Rego Park Shopping Center. And when I done with my shopping, I came back to the lot, and I saw him with his door open all the way out, and he was leaning against it, installing a baby car seat that he had just purchased. I told him that, he touches my car.
Was his door touching your car?
Yes. Leaning
it was totally open?
All his weight was on his door.
Okay.
And rubbing against his door.
Okay.
And it scratches my side of
Meaning
the
because he's leaning over, so his bottom is pushing the door open?
The back.
His back is pushing the door open. Okay.
Right.
How close is he to your car? How close
there is a yellow mark on the floor, and his door is past that. So I told him he let me go in between the cars to go to my driver's side, and I right away saw that there is a white mark. I tried to clean it, but it didn't come off, and I felt dent underneath.
Right.
So
So you knew it
told
had
him
gone
about
through the
it.
paint.
Yeah.
Now, what kind of car is this?
A Mercedes.
What year?
2003.
2003. Okay,
Right.
go on.
And I told him about it. He said that he dismissed it and estimated it right there and then. He said maybe it's $40, $50. And he offered to give me his cell phone number. I said, I don't want your cell phone number. I want your insurance information. Well, he refused to do so. And his wife came from the other side. They start cursing. They didn't let me take a picture. I went with my cell phone, and she's blocking my view every time I went to take the picture. She didn't allow me to. And so I was afraid of her more than of him. So I got into my car.
She's home taking care of the kids.
Yeah?
Yeah. They were there with the baby.
She a hothead?
Sometimes.
Okay.
When you get under her skin,
When you get under her skin. And so was this lady getting under her skin?
My wife didn't want videotape or pictures of my children, and on her phone. Who knows what she's going to do with it, I don't know.
I got a feeling she's going to sue you with it, but okay. But in any event, so what happens? She says to you right away, right? Like, hey, you hit my door. And what do you say?
I said, listen, you know, your car is scratched from front to back. There's no way you can say
Did
that.
it have a lot of scratches on it?
From the front light to the tail light.
Did you take pictures of that?
I mean, there were fine scratches that you couldn't see them in a camera.
Sometimes you can.
In a parking
sometimes
garage,
you can,
you
and
can't
sometimes
tell.
you can't. But did you take pictures?
Yeah, I have a picture of the car where it was, and you know, the door. There was no way that you could even hit the door fully open.
When was that picture taken?
As soon as.
Had the cars been moved?
As soon as I backed up. I didn't move the car, no.
When you say as soon as you just said, as soon as I backed up, what does that mean?
As soon as I backed up to take a picture.
Oh,
I took the
physically.
pic- yeah,
okay,
physically.
not the car.
No.
Did she move hers?
Not that I recall.
Okay, let me see your picture.
There's 4 pictures here.
Okay.
Just scroll through.
So you come out, and according to you, the wife is getting aggressive and going like
Yeah,
this.
she was
and then-
very hostile.
All right, were you able to get any pictures?
Yes.
Okay.
I have pictures.
Did they ever move their car? Did you ever move your car before the police came?
I don't recall.
Well, I mean, I would think that that's the kind of thing you would recall. Is this the distance between the two cars?
Your Honor, she's saying no?
She's saying no what?
About the distance.
No, that picture took maybe after we moved the car.
But is that your car? I asked if you moved the cars. You said, I don't recall.
I don't recall, but I don't recall if I moved it before the police came or not.
Why would you
I know
move it
that
if you're calling the police about a nick on your door?
Yeah, maybe. Maybe I didn't move it, but in any event, you see the door, the car door, his door open all the way.
Is this a picture of the nick?
Yeah.
So this is a picture of the nick. This one, not this one.
Yeah, no. Yeah.
What's that there? A different
I think
nick?
it's just a reflection of.
Now that's the reflection. That's not the reflection.
Maybe. Yeah.
I mean, you do have other nicks. The car's how old? 2003, so 10 years old. I mean, it's, you know, it's had a life. But you're sure that that nick wasn't there before you walked out to the car?
Yes, yes. I saw him clearly with this, the door, his door has like a point, and it was rubbing against my car.
And you know, you see there's another nick right there.
This is it. Oh, no, this is it.
There's two nicks.
Yeah, no.
Right. So where'd the other nick happen?
Judge,
From another?
Your Honor, it's from people that do it all the time. You
I know.
park your car, and people disregard other people's
They're
property.
so rude.
And
I know.
it's so rude.
No, I'm serious.
And-
At one time, someone opened their door right into my car, and I was sitting in the car, and I looked at her, and then she keeps walking to the ATM, and I get out of my car. I go, "What's wrong with you? You just opened your door into my car. You didn't even stop and apologize. You didn't say anything." She goes, "Well, that'll happen in Miami."
Well,
that's exactly the phrase the woman told me.
You know, every time
I will never forget that. But that has nothing to do with our case. Those are. What I'm trying to tell you is, I totally know your pain because this drives me insane. What is that up for? What is it that we're going to? You wanted to show me some pictures through your computer?
Yeah.
Let me see them.
You want to give me your insurance information? That's what I want. I just want the information, the insurance.
$1 million. I'm not getting what I want. Just like you're not getting.
You know you have to. By law, you have to give me your information.
Actually, no. I've been in an accident and I don't. The police
Okay.
told me.
All right. You open the door in my car and you have to give me your insurance information. That's all. The police will get it from you.
Exactly.
Okay.
Okay, that's your video, right?
Yeah.
That video shows you very far from his car. His car door is completely open. Yeah. It's still open. It's open all the way.
No, it's not open all the way. I'm sorry.
Rewind that. It's pretty far
right
up.
there.
It's pretty far. Go ahead, rewind it. Let's look at it again.
So if there are lots of dents in the car, does the guy have to pay for the entire repair?
No.
Why?
He didn't ruin the whole door.
So what do you pay?
I don't know.
See, that's a good question, huh?
Yeah.
I ask good questions, right?
Yeah.
Really good questions. There you go. Going inside the courtroom.
How much more open can that car door get? If it gets any more open, it'll be in the front seat.
Actually, no. I've been in an accident.
How many accidents has your wife been in?
Well, she got rear-ended the other day.
Oh, is that what she meant?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, recently before that, yeah.
Yeah. All right. So here's what I've got. I've got you saying you hit your car. I've got you saying I did not. I've got a picture that shows the two cars pretty separate, pretty darn separate, which would make it virtually impossible for him to have hit your car. So then I wonder, well, maybe the cars were moved, which I asked you, did you move your car? You said, I don't recall, but it would be highly unlikely that you'd move your car. What would be the point of moving your car when you're trying to show the police what happened. But then I have the bird's eye view from your video right in your car seat where you're filming it and the door is completely open. So you tell me, who are you going to believe, me or your lying eyes, Judge? So we rewind and we see the door as open as it can be without bending backwards like a disjointed circus performer. And then I have your car, which is a 10-year-old car that does have numerous nicks in it, including right near this. I don't think that you've proven your case by a preponderance of the evidence, and I find in favor of the defendant.
Thank you.
Both sides, hold on, please.
So unable to prove her case, the plaintiff comes out on the losing end of this case. What's your reaction to that?
Well, I'm very upset that she didn't rule in my favor because many people open the door all the time on other people's car and they disregard other people's property.
Well, that's true. She told a few stories that it happened to her, but when you come into court and it's a court case with a defendant standing across, you have to prove it.
Yeah, well, I guess this wasn't a strong proof, but that's what
Actually, your video disproved it.
Well, unfortunately, maybe. Maybe I didn't move my car, but I don't remember.
Okay. All right, right down the hallway here. All right, come on in. Maybe she did move her car before the video. Were they closer before that video was taken?
No, the video was the video. And the cars didn't move. I mean, I've been in accidents before where I know for a fact that you don't move your car when you call the police, and we didn't do that. And
well, so why is what's she trying to pin on you then, you think?
The hundreds of scratches up and down the left and right of her car. You know, she was trying to get somebody else to pay for somebody's damage.
Has your wife been in any more accidents lately?
No, we don't, you know, she doesn't drive as much when I'm around.
All right, Harvey.
So, cardinal rule, never, ever, ever move a car when you're in an accident before you take pictures of the damage. The way the car is positioned will determine whether you win or lose. Judges look at that, and there's lots of evidence there.